most of you have done really very well. So they're going to essentially be the same slides that you looked at about a month or two ago. New slides that will be put into place that you've seen but we haven't talked about. In your textbook, this particular goddess that appears within there, as you know, shows the quality, the harshness, the brutality in some ways of Aztec art. And more than that, the multifaceted individuals that were put together. The god, Culticu, that you can see with her snake-like head images on the top, the necklaces of human hands that related to the act of sacrifice that we've talked about before, and as you can see, a human skull image which appears in the center of her necklace, if you will. Number two, the utilization of the human parts of the anatomy. In this particular case, the skull that was used as part of the ritual works of art. This probably in all reality was a mask because the part is cut off from the back. So it looks as if it could be fastened over the face of somebody. Out of it are the obsidian blades and knives that you know are used for cutting out the heart of the individual. As we saw, an obsidian knife would be used to excise the human heart. The eyes, of course, have been used, as you can see, obsidian, other materials have been used to augment it. But Aztec art is pervasive with the human skull, whether it's seen in carved renditions on the goddesses you saw a moment ago, the actual work of art, or seen in other areas. Also in your textbook, a carved object called a Tazat stone, excuse me, which is an astrological symbol. Astrological symbol. It's not a calculation. You remember, astrology is different than astronomy. So the various myths that are associated with Aztec art and idea, this is also from your textbook. It's called the Tazat stone. It is an astrological symbol. Number three, our Lord of the Flayed One. Human sacrifice in many ways was documented very clearly. And this represents Shetotek, and you can see the priest now who is wearing the splayed skin of the individual that's depicted by the brown-like color of the skin as it's rotting. And you remember the priest actually wore that for about 30 days, so you can imagine it got pretty gamey. The living flesh is seen on the bottom of it. You recall the idea here is that it really is linked to agriculture. The idea that there is foliage that gets brown, like the decaying skin on the individual, the healthy human flesh now associated with, like the new corn being grown in the spring. Architecture, we've seen various examples of architecture. This also in your textbook, or one very similar to it. This is the city of Tenochtitlan. Remember when the Spaniards arrived there, they were overwhelmed by it. It was larger than a number of cities that they knew about in Spain and Portugal and other cities. It was larger, for example, than Madrid and other cities at the period.